Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois, and we are headed into week 3 of the high school football season here in the Bayou region. Lots of very interesting games going on this week. And you know, they call this week 3 the separation week. That means we separate the contenders and the pretenders. You start to find out who's for real and who's maybe not so much for real after week 3. Let's look at who will be playing who. H.L. Bourgeois, for the 3rd week in a row, will be playing on a Thursday night. A 5A school playing on Thursday night, just about every Thursday night. They will be at Central Catholic in Morgan City taking on the Eagles there. The Eagles 1-1, H.L. Bourgeois 1-1. Assumption trying to get their first win of the season. It's going to be a tall task as they go out to take on 2-0 Thibodaux High School. Allendale Memorial is going to be at Houma Christian. First time in the history of Houma Christian they play a 4A school, and they'll be taking on a local school in Allendale Memorial. That ought to be an interesting game out there on 311 behind Living Word Church. Central Lafourche and South Lafourche, although just in general we all love each other on the Bayou, not so much Friday night at Galliano, where South Lafourche and Central Lafourche at one time were huge arch rivals. Now they're just rivals since they're not in the same district. Ought to be a good one. Both of those teams are 1-1. Vanderbilt Catholic on the road for the first time this year. They'll be traveling out to Sulphur. A good program. Sulphur hadn't been quite as good as they've been in the past. Vanderbilt handled Sulphur last year. We'll see how it goes this Friday night. Maybe the game of the week in the state of Louisiana is right here in Houma. It's St. James at Terrebonne High School. That game being played at Tom B. Smith, 7 o'clock start time. We'll have that on radio for you, 97.7, as Terrebonne General's game of the week will feature those two teams. And actually, I'll be on the call for that one. Again, St. James at Terrebonne this Friday night. Another tough one for E.D. White. E.D. White, if they haven't played the toughest schedule in the state of Louisiana, they're definitely in the top 2 or 3. E.D. White's going to take on Hornville. This one played in Booty. Hornville undefeated. Unfortunately for E.D. White, they don't have a win, but they've played again Holy Cross and Jesuit, who are very good football teams. Hanson Memorial at South Terrebonne, a chance for South Terrebonne to go to 3-0 on the year. Alexandria is going to be at Destrehan in a battle of big heavyweights out there. Morgan City traveling out to Eunice to take on St. Ed's. That's a good St. Ed's team. Franklin's going to be at Berwick. Berwick trying to get their first win, and so is Franklin. Patterson going to be at Catholic of New Iberia. That's a tall task for Patterson. Patterson hadn't gotten a win yet this year, and Catholic of New Iberia, very good. Want to make sure that you understand where all of our local teams fit related to PowerPoint rankings and polls. First, we're going to take a look at the Division I non-select polls. Now, this is related to PowerPoint rankings, everything, and it's real early to talk about PowerPoint rankings. But if there was to be a cutoff today after the 28 teams that make the playoffs, this is what it would look like. Thibodaux would be going in at number 3, they're 2-0. Destrehan would be going in at number 4, they're 1-1. Terrebonne would be going in at number 12, they're 2-0. South Lafourche would be going in at 15. I know a lot of you are saying South Lafourche in the Division I bracket. Yes, they're still in the Division I bracket for one more year. Next year, they'll be in the Division II bracket. Don't ask me, I just report. At number 19, it's East St. John. They are winless, but obviously the two teams they've played so far this year are very good. At number 26, it's Central Lafourche at 1-1. And then on the outside looking in would be Hornville and H.L. Bourgeois, even though Hornville is 2-0 and H.L. Bourgeois is 1-1. Remember, when it comes to PowerPoint rankings, a lot of it is revolving around strength of schedule. It's real early. Don't get bent out of shape if your favorite team is not in the top 28. And don't get too high if your team is sitting way at the top of the 28, because there's so much more football to play. But we wanted to show you 28 teams in. That's sort of what it looks like after only 2 weeks. Let's go to Division II non-select. In Division II non-select, South Terrebonne comes in at number 2. They're 1-1 on the year. Of course, they got a win over a 5A Como team last week. That's what helps them. Lutcher at number 11, Morgan City at number 24. On the outside looking in would be Assumption and Ellender. Both those teams are winless at this point. But again, it's only week 2, folks. A lot of that is going to change. Now, let's look at Division II Select, which houses Vanderbilt Catholic and E.D. White. Vanderbilt with 2 wins. They're at number 3. E.D. White at number 10 right now with 2 losses. But that's going to change a whole lot. I mean, look at number 24. They got St. Charles Catholic there. St. Charles Catholic is not going to end up at number 24 in that power ranking. Now let's look at Division III Select. And in Division III Select, Houma Christian sits at number 19. Hopefully, with a win against a 4A team this week, the Warriors can move up. And finally, let's look at Division IV Select, where we have both Covenant Christian and Central Catholic. Covenant is sitting at 13, Central Catholic at 19. I really believe both of those teams are going to move up before it's all said and done. Top 24 in that particular division make the playoffs. A very early look, but a look just to see where your team stands early in this year. Got to take a break. We'll be back after these messages.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.